As we've been introduced, we're from Yarnton Home and Garden, which is a garden centre located just north of Oxford as you go into the Cotswolds. So we are very lucky with where we are placed in the world. And I was really excited to obviously get the invitation to talk, but also along the wider themes of collaboration and then community was what they asked us to talk about in particular. And it really got me thinking about community and the word community and what it means to people. And it might have a different meaning for each of us, but I think we can all agree that community is about sharing values and sharing experiences with people that we enjoy spending time with. And that is something that is at the centre of everything we do at Yarnton, is creating a sense of experience and a sense of shared experience as well. So really excited about looking at the topic of community within retail, because I think it's often really, really overlooked. So just a tiny bit of history about us, just to give you some idea of our roots in our own community, is the Garden Centre has been around for over 50 years, and it was started by twin brothers, Richard and Nigel, and they bought the land to grow vegetables to Oxford University, and as the common market came in, they quickly realised that they weren't going to survive doing that, so they opened it up to become a plants nursery, and they ran it happily for 50 years with the community at the centre of everything they did. So when I started and I got asked to do a rebrand, I wanted to make sure that I did not ignore the fact that the community had come on this very long journey. We had generations of families that visited us and continue to visit us today. And we have people that have come in every day for the last 50 years. So it was a big challenge for Celia and I to get this rich history and do something that would grow and allow us to build on it, to widen our reach, but not to unpick any of the hard work that had come before us. So the first thing I set about doing, obviously, was creating a new brand. It used to be called Yarnton Nurseries, and then it got changed to Oxford Shopping and Garden Village, and we felt that that didn't really resonate with the local community, so we wanted to put Yarnton back in the name, but also indicate where we were headed as a business, which was garden and home, moving more into homewares. So from a branding point of view, it was a big ask, because anyone who works or knows about garden centres know that they appeal to lots of your demographic, from tiny people to gardeners and an older demographic, basically. So we had to create an identity that was going to share the values across the generations of our audience and resonate with them. We also put in a magic garden play barn, but we didn't want to patronise adults with sort of too much of a cartoon. So we created Twiggy, which actually our community named Twiggy, but I'll come on to that later. And Twiggy was really symbolic of everything we were trying to do at Yarnton, because birds are obviously in the garden, but they're also nest builders, they're homemakers, and we need birds, we love our natural world. So this is the evolution of our logo, which has been really, really fun. And then I did a lot of work behind the scenes on the digital side of things, and I couldn't have done it all, obviously, and luckily Celia has been with me throughout the whole project and comes from the in-store experience side of things, whereas I was much more digital and marketing. So at this point, it's probably best to invite Celia into the conversation, because this was our first bit of physical branding in the store, and it kind of went from there.
It certainly did, yes. When we actually had our brand outside on the entrance, for instance, I knew that we needed to make sure that our new brand was going to be represented in the store, and actually give Bryony something to market, more importantly. The difficult part was, as Bryony said, we had a very varied demographic, and I needed to find a look, a key point. I think Paul was talking earlier about finding that particular cushion or fabric or colour that he wanted to build his scheme around, with a big 12-acre site, and I think it's about 8,000 square foot of space to play with. It was quite a task to find that particular cushion, for instance. I did a lot of research as well with the data, and had a look at areas that I thought we could grow, areas that, as an industry, horticultural industry, the garden centre industry, there's a lot of data out there, so I had a look at that, looked to see what we could do to change particular areas to make the impact as quick and as painless as possible. I suppose, actually, Bryony's just said that the Magic Garden, which is our new play barn, that had already been put into process. And I felt that as it was such a huge investment that the company was making, that I needed to take my inspiration from that. So Twiggy evolved from that, really. He's a very, very friendly, very well-recognised character now, which is fantastic. It wasn't like a traditional big, bold, colourful space. It was developed as a garden, so on a gardening theme. So we have like a little shed with little garden spades and flowers and all sorts of things. It's really, really good fun. So that's really the colour palette and the inspiration of trying to build this space around multi-generations. I really took from there, so that was quite a big starting point for me. From that, I can see we're on the cafe now. Never done a cafe before in my life. Quite a task. Again, it's looking at research, it's looking at customer flow, finding out where our customers are going. I would say that's absolutely key for any merchandiser, visual merchandiser, any space planner. Just keep an eye on your customers, where they're going. Generally, some of the time they're going where they shouldn't be going, where you don't want them to be going, because you haven't quite finished that bit yet. But that's absolutely key. And from that, you can guide them onto the journey that you want them to go on around the store. Am I saying about duration here? No.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to just say, just very quickly, I don't know, you can see from this that we've got some wonderful green chairs here. This was my next point of inspiration. We were very keen that we were, as a new brand and a new look, garden centre, if you like, we were very keen that we should go along the sustainable route. We had this opportunity to do that, which we're very lucky actually to be in the right place at the right time with all of that. So that was key for us. In amongst all of that, we managed to find the most amazing product, which was this green chair, which is known as the Duration chair. It came to us with a huge authoritative name. The Eden Project, who had commissioned it, basically. Excuse me. And we had a supplier who had been in development with this chair. And as soon as we saw it, we thought, absolutely, that's perfect. So we're going to put it in the cafe. And that's what we did. So right from the start, we managed to get our message and brand right across. So I was really chuffed with that.
So that chair's made entirely from ocean sea plastic. So what Celia did was have the sort of smart idea of using it in our cafe, and then customers can come and enjoy it, sit in it, and then also obviously buy it, which has been really exciting actually, and it's been a real talking point. It's created a real story for the garden centre, which is great. There's a few more on our cafe, so to chat about the homewares.
Yes. So we did obviously being a garden centre, the plants was huge for us. That was already, looking after itself quite nicely actually. So I sort of left that bit alone. Now with COVID and Brexit and everything else, we were a concession-based business when we arrived. Very organically, that changed virtually overnight, and we lost a lot of our mainstream fashion concessions, basically. And I was left with a huge amount of space to fill virtually overnight, which was very scary. I'd sort of seen that it might have been something that was going to happen at some stage, but actually when the lorries turned up and they took everything, all the clothing with them overnight and left me with all the fixtures and the empty clothes rails, I thought, oh, right, I really need to do something now. So we very, very quickly managed to fill the space, and that is through really by collaborating with some fantastic suppliers of ours. We'd already got one shop in a shop in one of the areas that had been vacated. So we deal with Present Time, which is a supplier here, and we managed to fill the rest of the space with Bloomingville, and we've got all sorts of different new card shop, an in-house card shop, and all sorts of wonderful spaces now. So that was really quite exciting.
Yeah, it was really exciting, and I think it was another opportunity because the fairs weren't happening during this time, so we were mid-pandemic here, and I was in charge of sourcing quite a big bit of this area. And so, you know, without the fairs, we really had to lean on our community of suppliers, but also look within our community to more local suppliers. So we definitely took the opportunity to put in much smaller brands than maybe we would have otherwise, and work with them much more collaboratively because they were the brands that were on our doorstep. They could turn up and come and talk to customers. So we've got, obviously, I'm squeezed between two of our lovely suppliers. The lady in the black and white dress, she has a little product called BW, and she literally makes her products down the road. And that's the other lady is Beth from Bayo, who's UK-based, all organic products. So it gave us an opportunity, I suppose, rather than sort of despair. We suddenly had to think on our feet, and we had to look more locally, and that's been really lovely. And again, it just tells that lovely story to the community about what's in their area, and they've been amazing popping up at events and things, haven't they? So.
Yes, absolutely. This is just a shot of Bloomingville, which is lovely. I think probably what's important about the community here is that being here at the fair, there are so many suppliers, but it's all about building a relationship with your community of suppliers and the people that support you, which is absolutely key. There's some wonderful people in the business, and I would just say just grow with them. You know, they're always there to help. We're always in the same industry, and we all want to see success across the board. So, you know.
And our suppliers were super reactive, weren't they? So we've worked with Present Time and Bloomingville and Mini Bloom, and then another one called Lenny Berger. And their whole teams were really quick to react and help us. Like Celia said, we had this big space. We had a lot to fill as us sourcing it, but we could not fill it all on the staffing we had and with no fairs and everything. So we couldn't have really done it without our suppliers, and they've helped us to create some interest for our customers. They're not concessions, they're brand partners. So they're chosen in part because they align with our values and we align with theirs, hopefully. And they're sort of really strong partnerships that, and the reps and the people that work for these companies, you know, they're very invested in the garden centre. Present Time, we have someone who comes and redoes the look and helps with the merchandising. So it's been a huge help for us. Small teams, big space. We've had to find ways to adapt really, really quickly. These are just some of the smaller product lines I was telling you about. We've got Cotswold candles there, and another one is batch number 1, UK made, all organic in Bramley, and another one is Brownstone. So just really an example of how we've really leaned on our local suppliers, actually, and they've really come up trumps for us. We couldn't have delivered what we delivered without them. So a big thanks to them.
Can I just add in there that we're so very, very pleased and proud to actually say that we've been we got the Progressive Home and Gift Award for Garden Centre of Retailer gift and home, which was very exciting, and a real thumbs up to us just to say, well done team, we're on the right track here. I mean, it's still, a lot of work in progress still, but that was a real boost.
I think it meant a lot to us, didn't it? Because obviously we're up on stage, but we've got an amazing team behind us, and it's been hard to react and change and adapt really quickly and bring the team with you, but they've been amazing, and so it was lovely to take that home. It was really nice. Obviously, we've had to adapt for our community. I mean, we know within our own personal lives that when we got locked down, I've suddenly made friends with a lot of villagers that I didn't know before. I was always out rushing around, and suddenly you're stuck at home, and you are actually looking at what's on your doorstep. And what I discovered in my own village was this incredible community of people, and I really couldn't have got through 2 lockdowns, still working with 2 children homeschooling without that community around me. And I think as a garden centre, we quickly realized that our loyal following was rallying behind us, and we had to respond to what they needed. And we had to respond to lots of changes in regulation, and we had to behave differently, and our customers did. And we never, it was a very difficult situation, as I'm sure if you're retailers, you will sympathize with, when you've got a lot of government policy coming in, and you're having to kind of play the role of policeman and also create these lovely in-store experiences. So we never wanted to seem forceful and dogmatic with our delivery of the new policy. So Twiggy really, really helped us out, actually, because he put his mask on and he said, look, just stay home and garden. So the logo changed, and he was a great educator for what we now needed our customers to do in order to stay legal. But we responded really to our customer needs. Our phones ran off the hook. It was the start of the busiest gardening season. And we, first of all, just were delivering orders by telephone orders. So I quickly got a call saying, right, your plans to do the e-commerce in 3 years' time, do it now. So do it by yesterday. So the team actually didn't get furloughed. We started building an e-com platform, and we also launched a click and collect service, which has worked really well. And actually, it's still really nice to have that in store, because some people don't want to come out, or some people lead busy lives and just want to swing in. So we launched the online, and we launched click and collect. And like I said, Twiggy guided our customers through the new requirements, which was really useful. And we talked a lot about small, but Twiggy was there waving the banner. So sustainability in the community, I'll hand over to Celia, because obviously she's touched on the amazing duration, but you go for it.
Yes. So we sort of started off with the duration chair. Bit odd, because I don't think we could have been further from the sea, to be quite honest. But it sort of resonated with us that we would working through a lot of change. Our customers were on a huge journey of change with us. They'd already seen quite a bit of change, but we were taking them on this journey. So we actually came up with a campaign
Sea Change
logo, or thing called Sea Change at Yarnton, which was quite fun. So that sort of enabled us to get the ocean plastic message in, which Carl was actually talking about earlier as well, with all the plastics. It's a huge worry, actually. So with the duration chair, it was just the most amazing product. It was the world's first chair, actually, made out of a recovered ocean plastic, which just blew me away. With the cafe, because it's a big retail space, I felt, well, it was perfect. We'll get the customers in there, they can try it, we can tell them the story. So that really was the start of it. We're now on a 4th generation, actually, which is very exciting for us. We've been selected to promote the latest one. And this chap here also is another huge inspiration for us, and part of our sustainability community, I suppose, in suppliers. This chap is making, he's a diver actually by trade, and felt that he wanted to do something about the plastics and the fishing nets and everything else that was all in the season causing such devastation. He's absolutely doing fantastically well. He's Scottish-based, and he is doing fantastically for the Scottish economy. He managed to figure out how to make these pots out of recycled fishing nets. He works very closely with all sorts of fishing charities that are out in the waters all around Scotland, collecting all these nets and rubbish and everything else out of it. And he's working very much for this closed loop economy that we're now seeing, rather than just being a sustainable and recycled product. It's that whole closed loop. He actually won the RHS Chelsea Sustainable Product of the Year in September, which was hugely exciting for us. And he's now got a whole new range, so he's actually coming into store in a couple of weeks, I think. But he's been a huge promoter of us, and as we are of him. So both of those two were really key in our journey.
Yeah.
From that, we've managed to build our sustainable collection. So every product that we source, we look, really deeply into the provenance. I know there's a lot of talk about greenwashing as well at the moment, but we're really very, very keen. Bryony knows as well. She does the home and gift buy. So, we, as a retailer, you have to do these things with authority. And make sure that we're giving our customers our best advice, which is, we're not preaching, because we're certainly, things are changing so much anyway that we're just keeping abreast of it.
I think we're just trying to offer alternatives where we can.
Absolutely.
So we're not claiming to be an eco-garden centre. That's not a claim we can make. But what we've always said is that where we can, we will source with sustainability in mind, and where we can, we will offer an eco or sustainable alternative. Hopefully one day that's all we'll offer. But what we're trying to do is go on that journey, and actually Celia found the ocean plastic pots. We were the first garden centre to take them. So again, it's just that being brave. They are more expensive than your average pot. We haven't bought into them because of the price point. We've bought into them because of the messaging that we are then able to give back to our customers, the information, the education, actually, because Ali comes with so much education about this. But absolutely, where we can.
The other message, of course, is with that, is that the more that we can encourage our customers to buy into these products, the cheaper they'll become, because they're all in their infancy. And it takes a huge amount of investment to deliver these. So we just want to show that we're behind the message, really, and then we're giving our customers the choice.
So another thing, as part of that sustainability journey, is we had launched a little bit of refill ourselves, and it was hugely popular. And then COVID happened, and there's a lot of health and safety, and we probably we just didn't have the bandwidth at the time. But what we have now done is partnered up with the Village Refill, who operate locally to us, and they're a zero waste store. And they are now in store offering absolutely everything refillable, from even candles and diffusers to store cupboard to bathroom. And that's been hugely...
Lipstick. We're just about to have a new range of makeup.
That's my shadows
really helpful
for you gents. So we know you're after some refillable eyeshadow. But no, they really do everything, don't they? And that's been hugely well received by the customers, hasn't it?
And it's all added footfall, all these different companies and smaller retailers, big ones, all of them, it's all about developing the footfall and your community.
And what I would say about offline retailers, obviously with COVID and 2 pandemics, is online retail went absolutely wild. As you know, we're all busy ordering online. But what I've said from a marketing point of view as well, I mean, Celia obviously knows this, but the customer experience mattered, and after COVID it mattered even more, because for some people it was the first experience that they were having with an offline retailer, so it had to be really good and really meaningful. And this is a lovely bit of store theatre as well, because you need to interact with these two to help you work out how to get the pasta out without it flying across the store, or stop the milk from overflowing. So it's been really nice to see face-to-face, a bit like being back at fair today, to have people, when we got customers coming back through our store, it just felt incredibly special to us. And I think it just reminded us as a team, although we were already sort of on this path, that customer experience is what it's all about, that creating memories. You know, you can sell a product, but you remember what your memories of your experience of being in that store. And online can't compete with that. I mean, yes, they can do some amazing things, and we are online, but you know, that eye-to-eye contact, that smile, that moment that you create in someone's day is so valuable to the business. It's just not to be underestimated. But these are a few more of the refill. So a big thing we were looking at before COVID hit us was obviously the events. And I'm just going to whiz through this. So the Seeds for School, I think, is the most important one we do. So every year we give out packs of seeds and compost free of charge, and our suppliers help with supplying those seeds, which we're hugely grateful for, but they're fully behind this initiative. And all our schools and we have childminders and we have nurseries apply. And then we hold a little judging day later on in the summer. So they will grow around key themes. So I think last year it was a picnic basket and wildflowers for bees, and we send out educational information to go with it. And it was our children from all our schools that coloured in pictures of Twiggy, the bird, and named the bird, and they won a competition. So these are ways that we link up with our local community. We feel schools are a really important way. Gardening is so good for mental health. I think we learnt that even more during lockdown, and even if you don't have big gardens, a window box is still a powerful tool.
Or a Wellington boot.
Or a Wellington boot, or an old picnic basket. So this is just Twiggy doing his thing. We celebrate World Book Day. We offer discounts over World Book Day, and we encourage children to come in. But one of the big things that Celia's launched, so I'll let her talk about it, is the Under Our Wing scheme.
Oh, well, again, because we had a huge amount of space to fill, I was very conscious that, you know, as a garden centre, we'd been allowed to stay open when a lot of our smaller independents hadn't been able to stay open. And that I felt that, you know, we'd been so busy, and it was just, I felt the time was right that we'd be able to give something back again to our local community. We had this funny little space next to the cafe, actually, and I kept looking at it and I thought it was a perfect space for a pop-up. So we launched our pop-up space. We don't charge for it, unlike, you know, a lot of the other pop-up places. What I wanted to do was to give people an idea of what it was like to actually be customer facing, because we had a lot of lockdown businesses that were approaching us to say, oh, I've developed a range of gift cards and I think they'd sell really well, or all sorts of different things. And I thought there was a real desire to get into a retail space. But I think from that also, there's as we all know, who are in the business, there's a huge amount that goes. It's not just about having the product, it's about how you sell it, how you react to, you know, respond to your customers, your marketing, your footfall. It's all about the money and making sales and all of this sort of thing. So I thought, well, actually, there's something that we could really do to help. So we don't guarantee footfall, we don't ask them for any money. All we ask for is just some social media interaction. From that, again, because of the shows, you know, we thought, well, actually, we might even be able to find someone that could actually supply us, you know. Out of that has come the most amazing, what can I say, opportunities for quite a few businesses, actually. The Village Refill, for instance, has just taken on one of them as a supplier, which is fabulous. Great, yeah. And I just wanted to say something about Sophie here. She's a graphic designer and an illustrator. I found her probably a couple of years ago, I think. Well, no, before COVID, so probably 2 or 3 years ago. And I actually bought a couple of her prints. One of them, she was in the Oxford Etsy store. One of them was Didcot Power Station, which was one of these big power stations, quite an iconic thing around our area. But I thought, well, that's actually quite clever because we knew it was going to be demolished. So it's actually still one of her best-selling prints. But from that, I then contacted her and said, would you be interested? Because I really like, what you're doing. She uses sustainable inks. All her processes are sustainable. She was very much on brand with us. The colours, her styles, nice and contemporary. And she does a range of houseplants. She also does a lot of tourist attractions, for instance. So I suggested to her that maybe she did some more of Oxford, and we're just up the road from Blenheim Palace, so that seemed the obvious one to go to as well. So she launched with us when we launched our new home section on August Bank Holiday. And she's just gone from strength to strength, really. She's got a whole new range of jigsaws that we're now doing. But so we do have that certain loyalty with her, but it's also about promoting them as a business and actually giving them that kick start, really, and showing them what it's like, when you don't have customers coming to you, because I think a lot of people make the mistake where they just think they're going to open a shop and everybody comes to them because they want everything there, but it's not like that. You have to work very, very hard for your customers, and they need to be cherished and,
nurtured.
Nurtured, absolutely. So that was just a little bit that we've done there.
And it's nice the pop-up, because it adds a lovely area of interest, doesn't it, for customers?
Keeps it changing.
Yeah. So I'm just going to flick through these, but these are just a few little things we've done pre-COVID and we're planning to put back on. So just building it around our values, really, so being bee-friendly, we've taken coaches to Hampton Court, done a lot around Wimbledon, the RAF Memorial Garden we've sponsored, and then we've done gardening events. So the last thing really about building the community is obviously building your community of customers. And we launched Become a Friend of Yarnton, which is our loyalty scheme, which is a really meaningful loyalty scheme. So we offer Friends of Yarnton genuine discounts, offers. They're first in the know about things. They're first to get emails about events. And that's been hugely popular. It's massively grown our mailing list as well. And it's been really, really, really good tool for us to really connect with our community and build it from a sort of marketing point of view. So that's our little card. If you come in, you can get one. And then we're just finishing on these two sort of things. So the first picture is a little boy hugging Twiggy. So he is a very much loved character. And then the reserve for Nancy, I'll let Celia tell the story because it's a lovely story.
It was quite sweet. When I was doing the cafe, because there was a lot of work going on, and we have a very loyal lady, actually. She comes in every morning for her cup of coffee. And she sits there, she was my biggest critic, and saying, why are you doing that? And that's awful.
She's always telling Celia off every day.
All the time. And I just felt she's just become part of the furniture. So I wanted her to feel that she was always welcome, but actually keep her in one space. So I gave her this chair with a little cushion just to make her feel really special. And she comes in.
Every
we missed
day.
her terribly over COVID, I have to say. But she comes in every single day and
critiques us.
Pardon?
She critiques us.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, asking me when I was going to take the Christmas tree down that was next to it. But that just really just shows, we're trying to. We have
we care. Yeah.
Yeah, we do care, and we have from one generation to the next. And I think that's absolutely where retail needs to be.
Yeah. And I think those two pictures for us symbolise that in terms of, we are trying to reach multiple generations. Yeah. And I think Twiggy's really done his job, actually. He's really done us proud. Yeah. So thank you so much for taking the time to listen to us. And please come and see us. We are in the most amazing location, and we will have a coffee with any of you. So just drop us a line, follow us on Insta. We're on Facebook as well. you're all welcome, and you're also welcome to ask us any questions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the audience, please? Oh, yeah, one here.
I've been a customer of yours for some years, although I've been in the gift trade as well. And I've noticed how Yarnton Nurseries over the last 40-odd years has progressed so well. What sort of drives you forward? Have you got a queue of people banging on your door saying, will you represent our stuff? How does it work? Or do you go out and dig for people, bring them into your concept? And what inspires you each day?
I think if I take the first part of the question, Celia, you do the second. I think in terms of sourcing, yeah, we do have a queue of people now banging on our door. We didn't, when I began, I was begging suppliers to come in, give us a chance, just, get behind the story. And I think in terms of choosing what we put in the shop floor, it's very much whether it's on brand for us. It's very hard to come into a place like this and not buy it all because you meet amazing people. So you have to come in with your plan and your strategy and a very clear idea of who your customer is and what you're looking for. So we're always looking for something a little bit different. We're looking for a sustainable element. We love a story. But in terms of what inspires Celia to keep going and creating new amazing spaces?
Well, I think, you get your inspiration from everywhere you look. I get my inspiration from our customers, from what they want to see. I get my inspiration from the shows. Pinterest, of course, is good, and Instagram. It's just keeping on board with all the trends, with the new products, particularly what products are trending and where we're going as not only as a nation, but as the world even, and also we're very lucky in the fact that we're a garden centre, so we have a lot of inspiration there with all the beautiful flowers and
the seasons.
Just anyway, got to soak it up and see where you make your difference, really. That's what I'd say. Is that okay? Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
I'm sure the ladies will be happy to take any questions individually if you're not brave enough to do it in the audience, but just want to say a big thank you once again to Bryony and Celia, and one more round of applause, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.